Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Desert Bears podcast featuring Mark Knott, Davey Crockett,
Sorry.
Garrett Heaton,
Woo!
and special guest Matt Knott.
All right. Let's rock this mother.
See you guys.
Okay, see ya.
Thanks, Brandon. It's good seeing you.
All right, see ya.
All right, yeah. So we have my
Check,
brother.
check. 1, 2.
Today's special guest is my brother. Matt, I'm going to turn down your level so you can move that around.
Can't even hear myself.
I already moved it.
Hey, can you hear me? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Hold on.
I can't hear myself. Oh, there we go.
Okay, yeah, maybe we should have done a little bit of a sound check before we started. Huh?
Ooh, I sound good.
We only had Brandon for that short amount of time, so we had to do the announcing.
Good.
All right, Matt, tell me when you're situated and I'll turn you back up.
All right, hold on. Actually, I think I'm there. We're there.
You're on the air. Okay, awesome. Cool. So,
I need something I can crinkle into Garrett's.
iceberg. So did we decide I'm going first?
Yes.
All right. So today I wanted to talk about I'm a skeptic to all things supernatural, but there's still some things that freak me the heck out. And so I wanted to talk about things that freak you the heck out. I'll go ahead and tell my thing. Mine is Skinwalkers. I looked up Skinwalkers on Wikipedia, and the first 2 paragraphs don't scare me at all. Basically, the idea is they're shapeshifters. They can turn into coyotes or wolves.
Yeah, shapeshifters.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
The idea is that they wear a pelt of some animal, and they can transform into that animal.
It's among Native American traditions.
Every culture has this some myth where people turn into animals, and then somehow that animal is injured, and then when they turn back into a human, you can prove that it's them because they have that injury on their face or their leg or whatever it was.
Well, that's funny because, I mean, I don't know much about them myself, but I know that some of my family, I mean, like my dad grew up in a place that was kind of surrounded by Indian reservation, you know, down in northern Arizona. And, I mean, so there's people in my family who have had kind of experiences.
Awesome, and I want you to save those, and we'll talk about those.
So yeah, what you just said doesn't really match.
Exactly. That's why when I looked them up on Wikipedia, I'm like, this is not what I heard from the natives down south.
Well, and from the shows I've watched, and a lot of the shows I've watched it can be from anywhere in the United States, basically. But I want to know, why the heck are people so afraid of skinwalkers here in Utah?
Well, the reason I am scared of them is we have family, me and Matt, my brother Matt, we got family down in southern Utah.
Hey, Matt.
And, and it was late at night. We were driving in the middle of the night. Probably wasn't the middle of the night. I don't know what time it was, but it was dark, pitch black outside, driving down this long, open southern Utah road. I gotta go to the bathroom now.
Suck.
Nice cold water. Continue.
I wish we had a sponsor. You have like a Coke cup or something right there.
Drink Sprite.
So good. Anyway.
And so we're driving on this road, and this is the first time he tells me about Skinwalkers.
Okay.
Wait. And who's telling you?
My cousin.
Okay.
He's a few years older than
Skinwalkers.
And he tells me that they are these Native Americans. Navajo is the generally where they're
He was just picking a tribe name.
Yeah. Well, I'll look it up later. It's Navajo. Anyway, that they have incredible speed, and the reason they're called Skinwalkers is because they steal your body, and they steal your body by looking in your eyes. So the idea is they cause a lot of car accidents because they chase cars, like a dog would chase a car, except that they can keep up with it. And then he says, just imagine you driving down this long, dark road, like we were, and a man is running full tilt outside your window, staring right in your window.
There's something on the wing.
See, I always heard that they were running on all fours. Like they were just like leaping. And that might be where like the wolf one got crossed in with.
Maybe like shapeshifter type.
Yeah. I don't know. That's just what I always heard.
And they might be, but after he said that, he gave me the visual of looking from the passenger seat, staring right at my face, moving his arms like he was running, just staring at me with this big grin.
Kind of like on Dumb and Dumber.
And like on Dumb and Dumber, exactly.
And it freaked you out.
And it freaked me the heck out.
And you never looked at anyone in the eye ever again.
So driving in southern Utah freaks me out now at night.
Well, southern Utah's like that. It's just wide open, and you get to look at the stars and freaky
Pass the water.
campfires. There you go.
And that actually reminds me. I remember on they used to have on, was it K-Bear?
K-Bear.
K-Bear 101.
What a wad.
They used to have a I think it was a weekly thing.
Water.
Water.
We're so stupid.
They had kind of like they had the George Norrie. Was that do we figure out what his name was from the
Coast to coast.
Yeah, Coast
Yeah,
to
yeah,
Coast.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
George Norrie.
It's kind of like that, but it was more like hip and like edgy. But they
Edgy coast to coast.
it was on K-Bear, you know. So the idea was, they said, here's the creepiest thing ever, and this is probably one of the creepiest thing ever. You're driving down a long dark road, like in southern Utah or something like it, and you pass a clown holding a single balloon, just staring at you as you pass. And then a mile down the road, you pass that same clown again, staring at you. So that freaked me out too. That just reminded me. I'd forgotten about that.
That wouldn't scare me because that is the kind of prank I would love to do.
Yeah, I was just thinking you could pull something like that.
Like, especially when I'm thinking like, you know, Provo Canyon or AF Canyon, where it's like, you know, close.
See, I wouldn't do anywhere in Utah because people have guns.
And that's just yeah, exactly. I'm gonna pull out my gun and blow you away.
I'll show that clown who's funny.
Yeah.
I'll get the last laugh. Then down the road, your friend dies too. And
That just
Think about how easy it is to do. You just need a few, you know, walkie-talkies and, you know, jump out of the trees and, you know, have the same costume,
it's
same
easy.
balloon.
It'd be hilarious.
I've thought about doing this a million times, actually.
that just plays on people's fears of the movie It.
Yeah.
You know, I've never seen that one. I think
neither.
I've sat down to watch it, and every time we've gone to watch it, there's been something wrong. Like the VCR, it's the tape, the DVD player doesn't work. They're
not
missing a
meant to see
cable.
it.
I know.
Read the book.
There's-
Read the
There's
book.
a solar flare.
It's a book.
I was driving home from Kohler's one night up in Highland, and I was coming along this just a not rural, but a subdivision road, and in the middle of the road, well, across the road were pizza boxes. Someone had set the pizza boxes up like triangles. There was like 5 of them crossing the road. I thought it was like the weirdest prank to pull. Just a bunch of pizza boxes blocking the road, so I couldn't get through because of pizza boxes. Nothing scary. I just thought it was funny.
That is scary.
So yeah, who wants to go next on something that freaks you the heck out?
Well, I could tell you about Skinwalkers.
Yes, please
Yeah,
do.
do
Yeah.
And what's funny is it's exactly what you said. I mean, I have a nameless. I mean, I don't know if this person wants me to,
Okay, sure.
you know, retell these stories, but someone in my family had told me once about
A
how
witch doctor.
now
A medicine man.
Okay, you're
Oh my
you're
gosh.
alone on this road, and you know, there's really nothing around, and it's about, I'd say, 15 minutes between any kind of, you know, home or city or light or anything, and you know, right out the window, right out your window, not the front, but the side of the window,
Is
you know, a person just running full speed, and you get this like creepy feeling because, you know, I think this person was going like 85 miles an hour.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah. No matter how
And
fast you go, they keep up.
Yep.
just right there, and she was terrified to look at the person, you know, and
So this happened, is what
happened.
you're saying.
Yeah, and this is only one story. I think there's a bunch of stories.
Where was this again?
This is northern Utah. Very, very northern Arizona. Almost South Utah.
down south.
Yeah.
That's interesting because I always hear it. You know, a friend. I always heard it third person. You know, I
Yeah.
never hear it
Come on.
first person.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Literary people, first person, third person. How does that
that's
work
right.
out?
Nobody
That's right.
cares.
Okay. Yeah, because I always hear it like, you know, my friend had this, or my cousin had this, or my neighbor had this.
Here at the Desert Bears podcast, we do not care.
So you're saying you know a family member
Yeah.
that told you this?
Yeah.
Huh.
Nice.
Would
That's
this family
creepy.
member be willing to talk to me so I can hear it first person finally?
Yeah, I think so.
Huh.
Good.
Yeah. But so, yeah, the running like a wolf in a wolf pelt, that doesn't really ring a bell. But
Yeah,
you know,
and that's why I was confused when I started to read it. And in fact, in preparation for this podcast, I rented from Netflix a Skinwalkers movie. I had 2 options. There was one made by PBS for their mystery ! TV show.
Okay.
And then the other one was, I don't know, looked like a slasher film. And I thought, okay, I bet you the PBS one, which was produced by Robert Redford, you know, a Utah guy, would probably be more accurate. it was just a regular murder mystery, and it happened to take place on a Navajo reservation.
Nice.
So there's no
Yeah.
skinwalking at all involved. So
Aw.
Is there any
I think
truth?
I've seen that one. Go ahead. Sorry.
Is there any truth to the to what they say about you shouldn't say skinwalkers 3 times, or did they just steal that from Beetlejuice?
I think that's a
Yeah.
Beetlejuice thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's stupid.
I mean, just the idea of skinwalkers really scare me. The idea of you driving, no matter how fast you go, this guy can still keep up with you, freaks
And
me out.
steal your body if you look into his eyes.
Yeah, yeah. And if you go on Wikipedia, there's a lot of other things that are kind of like how they kill you and blah, blah, blah. But really, it's just the idea of you can't get away from it no matter how fast you drive. That's what
Supernatural
scares me.
force.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this thing chased her for a while. It wasn't just like a few seconds or a few minutes. It was like a long time. Like she was sweating by the end. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, I always heard that if you do see it chasing you, you shouldn't look at it because it's the whole eye contact thing. So you have to like look away. But I mean, there's this thing chasing. You're like, well, is it still there? So you look back, like, no, it's still there. And
yeah. So it was in the corner of her vision the entire time.
That's crazy.
And another thing with the eyes, the Wikipedia was saying that their eyes glow like an animal, but when they turn into an animal, their eyes don't glow like an animal's would. But
Oh,
again,
wow.
that's if they're shapeshifters or whatever. So
Yeah, this was a really long time ago. So I'd like to get that story.
yeah,
told
I would
again.
love to hear it again in first person, like I said, if I could.
see, in Mexico, there's one similar to that. And I don't remember the name. It was actually like Chinese or Japanese or Korean.
Oh yeah, once again, I'm the only one at the table who doesn't know Spanish. So.
Nice.
Chupacabra.
No, it's not the Chupacabra. Although we did have a lot of stuff with that was creepy, weird. But this one, it would possess goats, and the goats' eyes would glow red at night. And the weird part about it is, like everybody knows somebody who's
Yeah.
seen these eyes glow red, but nobody actually can say who it was, or it's like a cousin of mine. But down there, like a cousin of theirs or an uncle of theirs has done everything, like their teeth exploding when they drink cold water on a hot day.
Wait a minute. Like, I'm trying to think. Isn't that a normal thing to I guess if you shine a light over
No,
it.
this isn't if you shine a light. Like you'll be in pitch black. Like it'll be night. Moon. If the moon's out, they can't possess a body or something. So it's got to be
Oh, wow.
overcast.
So it's like a red LED.
Yeah, you'll see 2 red lights out in this field,
Crazy.
and they say it looks like it's glowing, but it doesn't illuminate anything.
It's a goat that's possessed. That's what it is.
And I don't remember the name of it. It starts with like a Yakashika or whatever. I think it's a
freaking
camera brand.
creepy. That's
Look it
what
up,
that is.
friends. Look it up, friends. Google it. You'll figure it out.
But yeah, if it's all right, I've got mine.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
The thing that creeps me out, this is more of a more newer, I don't know if that's right, more recently reported one than, they're called the Black-Eyed Kids. Have you guys heard about these?
No, tell me.
You've mentioned them to me, and I don't know
Are they
anything else beyond
the same
about
thing
that.
as like all of the Oriental scary movies. Like it seems like all the
Sort of. Well, they're sort of that way, except for these kids don't have like their eyes aren't missing. They're there, but they're just completely black and
so it's
they're
like
glossy.
The entire thing is a black pupil.
Wait, what?
Is that's what it looks like?
So the
There's
center
no-
part is the pupil, and then the iris, and then the rest of it is called the sclera.
Something
right?
like that.
The white part.
The white part, I think, is called the sclera.
I think you're right. But none of that is there. It is completely black. And these children are usually between the age of 12 to 16.
Huh.
And the
What
first
part of the world are they living from?
they're all over the world.
Wow.
Reports seeing them. Like there's a lot here in the U.S. The first person to report it was Brian Bethel in '98.
He's very good.
Well, this is another interesting thing.
Close
about
friend of mine.
The people who always see them are always people who are skeptics or don't believe anything about the paranormal. They're
Okay.
never people looking for them.
Uh-huh.
And because of that, they don't want their name on paranormal sites. So it's like a reliable source of mine told me this story. But the first one's really interesting. This guy,
Freaky. I just Googled like images and all these scary kids.
aren't they
just came up.
creepy
Well,
looking?
I looked up Wikipedia, and it brought me Fergie from Black Eyed Peas.
Didn't you mean Black Eyed Peas?
Of course
what,
I did.
What
Excuse
I keep
me.
thinking of is from the X-Files, like the movie, especially. Like they get that creepy bacteria, and then it just
yeah.
clouds
Like
their
a hybrid.
so they're just like black eye
hybrid alien baby.
Something like
People.
that.
Yeah.
Well, the first guy to report it, his friend was telling him about it. He said that he went over to their house and he had a dog. I'm like, when did you get a dog? It was before these kids came by, and they're driving this old van. It sounded like it was running. Well, it thought it was running well because it didn't make any sound.
Yeah.
And he said he left they insisted that they let him in, and they said that when they went to go let the kids in their house, That's the other thing. The kids will always knock on the door and ask to come in.
Huh.
Or demand to come in, which usually winds up to be the case. And so they wouldn't let them in. And it was a girl talking to them, and she just kept getting more and more demanding, like, you have to let me in, you have to let me in. But nobody else in the group talked. They just stared at them.
Are they like, I don't know. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Are they like all-knowing, all-powerful children or something?
It doesn't sound like it. Like I couldn't find any stories that like described them really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody reports first off that it just seems like a normal interaction, and then they'll suddenly get this sense of fear, like the fight or flight feelings come in.
And the hair on the back of your neck.
Well, and then they said everybody who's close enough seems to report a smell of like rancid meat.
Weird.
Yeah, but their eyes are completely glossed over. And another one from a guy named David Weatherly.
Okay.
I might be pronouncing that
I
wrong.
believe you.
Weatherly, probably. He on his honeymoon, and this is actually this is one of the few people that actually reported their story.
Okay.
On his honeymoon, him and his wife were in Hawaii, and they were taking a walk on the beach, and a girl off in the distance said, "Come here, help me, I need your help."
Huh.
And so they started running towards her to help her out. And as they got closer, she kept running. She's like, "We need your help, come on." And it changed from "I need your help" to "We need your help. And then the girl started walking into the ocean and kept saying, "Come on, come on." And they said they stopped and watched her walk all the way into the ocean.
Disappear?
And just go into the water.
Isn't that creepy? Oh, that creeps me out.
So, but he got close enough to see her eyes were black?
Yeah,
or?
they said it was an overcast night, and when they got close to the water, they said the moon started coming out from behind the clouds, and she looked at them, and their eyes were black. And they said they just had this sudden feeling like you need to run.
Of dread.
Yeah, and they said that as the
my
girl
gosh.
talked, they could smell this rancid meat.
Wow, that's not like a zombie thing, but it's almost like they're under some kind of control, or they're like some sort of beings, like from your description, like in a trance, or like they make demands of normal people.
The two major theories seem to be like they're either demonic because recently, so 98 was the first reported story,
Okay.
but more stories have been coming out since, and some of them are from before that time. So it's like people are like, "Oh, I had something like that," and so they're telling it. And
Freaky, man. Freaks me out, dude.
but
Get out of the water.
Don't follow that boy.
So,
but go ahead. What?
is this maybe like the top of your list of just freaky things that freak you
this
out?
is the thing that terrifies me.
Oh, wow.
Because not only will people say they like try and get into their house, but like women have reported seeing them like staring in their windows, and they're on like the 30th floor of an apartment building.
Wow.
Well, and just the idea of like, I have kids. Anytime in a TV show, even a baby crying triggers something in me that I need to go help this kid.
Yeah.
And so feeding on that natural desire to help a child.
That's so evil.
And then twisting it into evil. Because right here, I'm reading a story online. I just looked it up. It was the first one that came on my Google search.
Google.
About a grandpa telling a story about
giving
how...
the ride on his
it-
shoulders. That's the one I was just... Go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. You probably know better. I only scanned through the first paragraph.
Okay, well, he so this is the reason why, this is the part where people think it's demonic, because the kid said he was tired, he couldn't walk anymore, and he needed to get into town.
So they helped him.
So he put the kid on his shoulders, and he said the moment he did that, he felt this like fear, and he grabbed the kid's foot and realized it wasn't shaped like a normal foot. It had like talons on it.
Whoa.
And so he grabbed the kid and threw him to the ground. But he said as he threw him, the kid didn't yell. He didn't like shudder or anything. It was just like he was completely docile.
Wow.
And he ran home and told his wife about it. And he was just in a panic. And his wife remembers quite vividly. He was like sweating and just
Did he have
terrified.
like claw marks on him or anything?
No,
Man.
no scratches, none whatsoever. These kids don't leave a mark.
We need more info on this.
Has there been a new drug introduced in like 98 or something like that? I'm
Well,
curious.
that story he said takes place somewhere in like the late 50s, I think, or early 60s.
Oh, really? Let's
Yeah.
see here.
I think maybe it was 68. I might be getting 50 out of nowhere.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just scanning through it so I can
But
tell you.
Crazy.
The
But
kids-
children. What is it the children are eating that no one else is eating?
The kids that show up though, they're either wearing like modern clothing, but it's very bland looking, like just like browns and blacks or whatever, or they're wearing clothes from like 1950s. That's where the 50s come in.
Oh, okay. So they kind of look out of place.
Yeah. The second theory is aliens. And that one I kind of tend to lean more to because like
My bad.
it's like the first time because we always hear about these crazy farmers who everybody's like, yeah, he set his barn on fire and stuff, and then like 10 years later he's like, yesterday I was abducted, and so
Marley, he's always got a story.
You always get that, and I mean, if the aliens had been abducting these people and now they've decided, well, we want smarter people, we want people who are real, well, what are they going to go after? They're going to go after that instant, like Mark was saying, the instinct to help a child in need.
Oh.
So I mean,
the moral of the story: don't help anyone ever.
Dude, that is freaky.
That is nuts.
That's the one that creeps me out. The only thing that I wish I could find more of, and maybe just because it's so new, but there are no reports of anybody actually letting the children in. None whatsoever.
So the fear is enough that like that's not working.
Well, I don't know. Nobody knows why it gets kicked in, but for some reason these people just start feeling panicked. And there's a story of a prison guard who these kids came over one night, and there's like, we want to come in, and he looked back at his house to see like, well, maybe I should give him a glass of water or something. And he looks back, and there's 3 of them now, and before there were only 2. And he's like, no, you guys need to go home. It's late. Your parents are probably wondering where you're at. And they say, no, we're here now. We want to come in. And they'll just demand it. Or in England, and this guy was a prison guard, and he freaks out and yells at the kids to get off his effing porch and slams the door shut. And then he said he heard some scratching on the door, and then the doorknob started to jiggle. And then in England,
I want some dummy to
fire.
I want some dummy to run across these kids. Like, okay, yeah, sure, come on in. I just wonder what their next step is once they're inside. Like, are they going to play Xbox the whole night or what?
The one in England,
popcorn.
the one in England.
Do you have the newest Halo?
The one in England is the most interesting to me because the kids interact with the person a whole lot more than in the other ones. Where they come to a door and they say, we want to come in and watch television. And the guy was in he said a flat, an apartment. We're in America.
A flat. I was waiting for my post.
And I
took the lift.
He looked at the kids and realized there are no families that live in here. So what are these kids doing here?
Seem really out of place.
Yeah, just totally. And the way they're dressed, their mannerisms. They say they talk. The one who does talks really properly and really adult-like.
Yeah.
And he said, no, I think it's best you guys go. And he said, just let us in. This isn't going to take long.
Weird, dude.
And that's when he slammed the door. And it's just like, what wouldn't take long? What are they going to do to him?
I need more info on that.
So what's weird to me is in all these stories is the first thing I'd say is be like, what the freak is wrong with your eyes?
Most of the people reported not noticing the eyes until later.
That's the first thing you look at in the face?
Is that until they have that flight or fight reaction?
That's usually about when it kicks in.
And then they're like,
maybe they look normal.
Oh my goodness, these kids are crazy kids.
Yeah, and I mean, we know the eyes are quote unquote the window to the soul.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe it is demonic, and these kids can mask themselves for a certain amount of time. And when they can't get in quick enough, they're just like, "Come on, you got to hurry and let us in. We're going to turn back into a pumpkin."
That's crazy. Crazy.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't know about that.
Oh man,
that's the one that creeps me out the most.
That's a good one.
I have a feeling that me and Davies are going to be the same.
Awesome. Let's do it.
But have you said all your?
Yeah, I'm done. Yeah, that's it.
That's actually a really good one.
Yeah, that was good.
For me, and I'm guessing maybe Davey too. My ultimate fear comes from the movie Fire in the Sky.
Oh, you picked mine. Well, let me just get zombie babies out of the way.
That was the creepiest.
One night, it was late at night. I came down. I was in our apartment in Orem or whatever, and for whatever reason, I heard this weird noise in the back. I'm like, the only explanation was zombie babies, and it freaked me out. But it was really just 2 cats like
mating.
Going at it in our backyard.
They sound so creepy.
The past couple weeks, we've had a cat out here, and they make. I know what you're talking about.
Isn't it crazy noise?
Horrible noise, and
it's like
it sounds like a kid crying, but not quite.
It does. When my boy cries at night, it does sound like a cat.
Oh yeah.
Isn't it weird? Yeah. It's like it's such a noise that's so foreign to like. It's middle of the night. It's like, what is that
Especially
noise?
Like 3 a.m., you're downstairs in the kitchen, like getting a drink of milk or something, and all of a sudden
you just hear this.
Yeah.
When I lived at my parents' house, I lived in the basement. We had the window well, and a cat got stuck down there one night, and I wake up in this sheer panic to hear this baby crying right outside my window. Yeah. And my first thought is a neighbor kid fell down the
zombie babies.
Window well again.
Dude, I would be too terrified to open the blinds and look.
I went upstairs and looked. I didn't look out my window.
You know what? I remember two cats fell in my window while fighting. I woke up to two cats
I
fighting in my
remember
window.
that.
That scared me to
I
death.
remember that story.
Okay, let's get back to Garrett. Fire in the Sky. What is it?
Okay, this is a movie that's based on a true story.
It is
Is this the snowflake?
Yes, it is.
Snowflake, Arizona, guys.
in the White Mountains.
Arizona.
Yep, I've camped there.
So it's a story about these loggers, and they're
Freaky.
up in the mountains logging, and they have a UFO encounter. And one of the four guys, is it 4 or 5?
thought it was three.
There were like three or four guys. Yep.
I kind of want to say that there's 4 dudes
Who
that were
knows?
involved. Anyways, they see a light through the trees, and they're in their truck, and they go and inspect it.
One
and
of them
there's a freaking UFO, and one guy just for some reason
is missing.
gets out of the truck. He heads towards the light, and there's this like kind of like a force push thing, and it just kind of like knocks him down, and everyone's
Pulls him
like
up and
terrified, and I don't know, I can't remember if they actually see him like, you know, floating or anything like that, but they just are terrified and just take off.
they take off and they leave him behind.
So the dude is missing for 5 days or
Days
a
at least,
week.
yeah.
I don't know. It's a while, right?
He's missing
And,
for days.
and then he just like shows up again, and he's got this like horrible alien abduction story, and
It's a terrible story.
oh my gosh! And the movie is to a kid, it's a nightmare. Like
Yeah.
it has affected my life.
He wakes up in this pod, and like there's like this skin over himself, and he like peels through it, and he sees it's like zero gravity, I think, and like he looks at all these other pods with like things in them, and there's this gruesome story where he's grabbed by these aliens, put on a table, and they do untold experiments to him. Ugh.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's pretty like, I mean, looking back at it now, it's not so, you know, mind bending, but to a kid, it was a graphic, you know.
Oh man,
They like
watching like well back then, you know, we all watched the X-Files and stuff like that all the time, and stuff like that. Just I believe.
But this guy and all of the rest of the people involved, you know, took several lie detector tests and passed every single time. You know, it's stuff like that. It's so creepy.
You know, just a few. Oh, it's probably a few weeks. I'm so behind on This American Life. Actually, interviewed these guys recently, and I don't remember
the one guy who's still around. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't remember that gory of details. But I haven't seen the movie. Maybe they left it out of the podcast or whatever. And
That's in a different podcast.
Yeah, it's interesting to go back and find This American Life. It's I don't know what date it was, just a few months.
Pretty recently. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a couple months back.
But
I don't
fascinating.
remember that one.
Yeah, it was interesting because they kind of they were contrasting the Mormon side of Snowflake, Arizona, with this guy who thought
side.
Yeah,
well,
this
yeah,
guy.
With
and
the
because-
alien
What's
side.
so
Because how-
intense is they camped on the very spot on the anniversary.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, like me and Davey have like fantasized about going and camping there.
I have camped there. Growing up in Arizona, I grew up in Tucson. We would take Boy Scout trips up to the White Mountains up there, and I do remember distinctly.
Go get pro, boys.
It's a creepy experience. You know, you hear things. I don't know if this is real or not. You hear like, oh, the Indians, they always reported lights up from the mountains, things like that. I don't know if I believe that, but
Water.
yes, so nourishing. Like you can see all the stars there. You can see everything.
Really?
Like the trees are just menacingly tall, and I honestly, yeah, it's just like the movie. It's awesome.
So
I'll have to see this movie.
I think that's
Yeah,
kind of where my
yes, yeah.
fear came from. But ever since I've had this really terrifying phobia of aliens.
Aliens.
And so like sleeping out on the tramp as a kid, you know, it's creepy. But I have maybe 2 personal experiences.
Nice.
One is I was camping at Lake Powell in like Boy Scout days, and I was sleeping in the back of a boat, and there was a friend with me.
Was that comfortable at all?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, boat sleeping is very comfortable. It's
Oh,
like being
yeah.
rocked to sleep as a baby.
It's phenomenal.
Until you roll off the boat and drown.
Like, aliens. So okay, this is what happened. You know, Lake Powell, you can see really well
Everything,
the
yep.
sky. You know, if there's no clouds and stuff. And so I was just chatting with my buddy and laying there looking at the sky and stuff. And then all of a sudden, I saw a really bright orangish, reddish light, and it was kind of just much bigger.
Yeah.
But it was just hanging out in the sky.
Just hanging there.
Just chilling. And so I saw that, and I was like, huh.
It was bigger than the other stars.
Yeah, it was very
noticeable,
very
right?
noticeable.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's just chilling there, and then so I'm like, okay, and by this point things like that terrify me. So I didn't bring it up. I didn't want to bring attention to it because that would just make me stare at it more and be more scared. So anyway, we kept our conversation going, and then a little bit later on, I looked at it again, and it was in a different place in the sky.
Huh.
I didn't see it move, but it was in a totally different place in the sky, but it was the same light, and I'm just like, okay. And it basically this happened 2 more times, and then and then I actually saw it just go,
just gone,
just left. I mean,
just
it didn't disappear. It just moved and went out of.
It moved in a direction.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It moved and disappeared. So, and it was just like it was in another spot again, and then I saw it go, and I was like, oh gosh.
Wow, that's awesome.
Looks like Fire in the Sky is on Netflix Instant, so
ooh, you'll be watching that soon.
Quick and easy find, yeah.
Oh man,
UFOs are fascinating because I was telling Mark about this the other day. There are cave drawings of it. Like, look at this. Like this one is fascinating to me. If I can make it big enough for everyone to see. It's a cave drawing of these people wearing protective helmets.
Yep, I've seen stuff like that.
Like, they're just everywhere. And in Kiev, Ukraine, they've found these like 4,000 or 400 BC, 6,000-year-old, I don't know, they're called like miniature carvings of people in metal suits. And like not armored suits, but like protective suits. And there's like places where air would vent in and out, and just crazy stuff like that.
Yeah, they have glyphs like that in Mexico too, with the spaceship, glyph. It's really awesome.
Oh yeah, that whole thing.
That one's a really cool one to look at. Yep. Ugh.
So yeah, I have a huge fear of that, but I kind of think that haunted houses, like true haunted houses, terrify me a little bit more.
Man, we have like the same ones. Ghosts and aliens.
Yeah,
freak me out.
Can I tell you a funny haunted house story before you get into your serious one?
Okay.
Do you have a serious haunted house story?
I unfortunately do not have any interactions with ghosts.
Good.
But we have, in our friendships, we've done stupid things all the time where easily we could have seen a ghost. And I've just willingly done this so many times. But I have
Dude,
to
we
tell
could
you,
have seen a ghost just then.
I know, it's just like
we've been in graveyards. We've been in like
graveyards.
ghost towns.
I've lived in a 100-year-old house.
We've been in old mines and
exactly
all this stuff. And we go, just looking for, like, we've got, photos that we're trying to like catch orbs and stupid stuff.
It's like watching
audio.
It's like watching ghost hunters on TV. They never find a dang thing.
No, they never do.
But if we were, I'm telling you, if I were to see something, I would lose my mind.
Wow.
Yeah. I every time we go to out to one of those scary places like Merker Cemetery is like anytime we're at Merker Cemetery, just kind of standing in a circle talking, it's the most uncomfortable feeling ever. It's just you keep looking behind you, keep looking
There's
around.
All these graves with little picket fences around them.
Yeah, it's in the middle of the night. It's not a fun place to go.
Full moon
no big deal.
Everything.
Well, our high school even here, I mean, I've had weird things happen to me there where
a lot of people have. Yeah.
Like I'd be because I did the lighting for plays for those who are listening in and don't know me, and so I would be up in the catwalks, and our catwalks were not exposed like a lot of schools where they're actually up inside the ceiling, and there were these holes that you'd hang the cameras. Well, let me try that again. The lights out of.
Yep.
And while I was up there one night, I had all the lights off in the entire room except the lights that I was working on, so I could see exactly where they're pointing at. Well, while I'm working on them, all of them start to flicker and then go out, and I hear these distinct footsteps running across the stage, and that's a very distinct sound.
Dang, dude.
And then somebody climbing up the ladder.
Holy
scared the crap out of me. And then the lights come back on, but not just my lights, all of the lights in the auditorium.
What?
Yeah.
That happened to you?
Yeah, it was terrifying.
Holy crap. Here's the weird thing. Me and Garrett have been like up into those catwalks. We've been in other places of that high school.
Yeah.
You can't disclose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can't tell you about.
We've been all over. I remember when me and Garrett were in this other place at the high school, and the
tunnels?
Shut up. The air conditioner was on, and
Everyone's been in the tunnels.
And I tried to open up the door, and it was from the laws of gravity and physics and electrons and whatever.
Yeah.
The suction on the door wouldn't, because the air conditioner was on.
The airflow.
Okay, yeah.
The airflow, it shuts and opens doors underneath there. So I tried to open a door that was being on, and it was hard to open. But when I did, it was like everything where we were at just freaked us out.
Oh my gosh.
That was
When
awesome.
we finally got it open and we walked in there, another door somewhere else slammed shut.
Totally.
And just crap like that. I was livid.
Yeah, but I mean, you think about it now, it makes sense why it would open and close two different doors.
We were there, but like Garrett said, I've never really had an experience. I lived in an old house. I've been in mines. I've looked. I've been like, please contact me. And I've never had an experience like that. And that would freak me out. Oh man.
Dan Jackson has some good stories about the tunnels too. I remember him.
Yeah, he's got one where he actually saw a face.
Yeah, that's the thing. I remember the one that I remember most is he looked up through climbed up and looked through a vent and saw a face looking back at him through the vent, and he said he could best describe it as someone who looked like him but wasn't him. But it wasn't a mirror, but it wasn't him still. And
when he got down there and looked through the it's like
The vents,
the air vent. He
Slats
saw the
them.
back of someone's head.
Oh,
Yeah,
I know.
he did.
First, he saw the back of their head. It was a brown-haired kid, and he looks at it. He's like,
What is that?
And
Yeah.
then he saw it.
The story
turn.
freaks me out every time.
It turns and then looks at him, and then has this kind of surprised face, and then
Ducks.
just ducks and disappears. And that room is locked on the outside.
Yeah.
The only way to get in there is with the key or to crawl through the vents, which he did. And I've been into that room, and it's freaking just creepy.
It's just a spooky room.
There's always names of people in there.
I remember him saying that he just dropped on the floor and said, "There's a person there. There's a person there." And everyone
Were you
jumped
there
in.
when
No, I only heard the story. I don't know what my problem was, but I never went on any adventures with Dan down into the tunnels. Our brother,
I'm so glad I didn't.
our other brother Adam, we'll probably have him a guest in the future podcast. He has some great tunnel stories. He lived in the tunnels for
Yes, he did.
for a few weeks.
Really?
Oh my god.
Yeah. Matt, you know this, I was on my mission. Do you
Yeah.
tell the tunnel story quickly?
Actually, no, you weren't on your mission. I was in the MTC, wasn't? Oh no, you're
No,
right.
no, I
you're
was
right.
on my mission.
Well, I don't know any of his really. He didn't.
Maybe we'll have him tell the
Yeah,
story
you're gonna
next
have to
time.
have him tell
Yeah,
it.
we're
Okay,
gonna
we'll save it for next when he's
I don't
here.
want to. I don't want to ruin it. 'Cause, yeah.
Ghosts.
But
Ugh.
I was in the tunnels a lot in high school as
Yeah.
well, and I never had anything crazy weird. Of course, most of the time I was in there, I had permission.
Yeah.
Because we started using it as storage for play stuff.
Yeah.
And so I'd go in there all the time, and I never had anything creepy or weird happen to me.
I was always more interested in finding old weird crap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like old adding machines and furniture from the 50s and 60s. Creepy.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
those
Trophies and things. Weird.
crackers and
Or
stuff.
there's that room where the janitors hang out. Did you guys find that one?
I think so. Yeah.
They have the couches there, and they have
I actually don't remember that.
there's two. Maybe it was more of when I was in high school,
Huh.
but they had two older. I don't know what they're called, the lockers.
Yeah.
And if you open them up, there were saltines in there, there are cans of soup, and there's a microwave in there.
Now, with the renovations that
They're
have happened
home
over
away
the
from
past
home.
few years, are the tunnels still there?
They're
Most
still
of
there.
them, most of them are. They did actually take out, and I don't remember how many, but when we went back in there were entire walls that had been bricked off.
Oh, nice.
And so I think they had shut down maintenance on those. Or
Me and Davey's adventure ended when we were down there for at least an hour, maybe two.
Yeah.
And we got into this crossroads area, and there was this old chair
Just sitting there.
just sitting there, not near anything important. It was just there kind of in these
Just in the
crossways of
dark.
two hallways.
just a dead end, dark
and
hallway.
and then all of a sudden it brought to my memory all of these creepy movies I've seen where there's a chair,
The Ring.
the ring, and
Yeah.
other things. And I just saw it, was instantly terrified, and I'm like,
We
Davey,
gotta
we're
get
done.
out of here. We gotta get out of here. I remember that.
That's awesome.
I remember that.
Well, now, are there multiple openings? We should say this for Adam. He'll know. He'll know all the details and ins and outs. So we'll save
Did he live in the tunnels? Because I know he lived in the auditorium.
Well, let's save it for him. He built a fort in the auditorium. So we'll leave it for him to.
Well, yeah, for you guys, the new renovations they built, they have the stairs now that go from the outside of the auditorium up to the balcony where the light
Yeah.
board is and the
Light
soundboard
booth.
is. Well, Adam was looking at it and he's like, what's in the space above the stairs but below the ceiling? So he punches a hole in the ceiling and sees that it's completely empty. And he decides, let's build a fort here.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, we'll have him
Yeah.
probably next time, and he'll explain it.
Yeah.
A lot of creepy things.
So what's interesting with all of this is, once again, I'm a skeptic. You, Davey, just kind of confirmed that, how you can go seeking it out, but there's no
Just
evidence still.
Can't find evidence.
Things happen, electricity things happen, but none of us have seen ghosts.
I haven't yet.
I have
Have you?
quite a few times.
Nice.
Do you want to? kind of put a dead end to my
Where's your
theory here.
evidence now, there, Mark?
Have you been holding out on us? What?
Do you want to share any of these?
Yeah, well, sure. Now, okay, have any of you guys been to the Springville Museum?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Art museum. Yeah.
The art museum, yeah. That place is absolutely freaky.
Is it?
Yeah, if you go there at night.
Even though the day it's not well lit.
No, it's not. But
I'm already
one night,
scared.
one night while we were there,
I was distracted by the art.
well, we could see movement inside the building, and so we got up closer, and there wasn't anything. So we started walking back to our cousin's house, who lived like 2 blocks away. And as we're walking back, we see these people jumping, and Adam can confirm this. He was right there with me. There were people jumping off of probably like a transformer or something on top of the middle school, which is basically connected to the art museum.
Yeah.
They're jumping off of it. But the weird thing was nobody's climbing up there, but multiple people were jumping off, and there was only one person standing up there at a time.
Yeah.
And it was really kind of twisted. And all of us just got scared. It was me, Adam.
So you're in the middle of the night. You're looking up at like a telephone pole?
No, we're looking up at the top of the middle school.
Middle school, like a roof?
Yeah.
Wow.
And
People are just jumping off the roof.
well, they're jumping
Figures.
off. Yeah, and so I don't remember who said it, but somebody said to, and I might have been me saying it, but one of us said, maybe we should get out of here. And we hear distinctly from that direction, yeah, go. And we're like, ah! And we just tried to book it. But yeah, you can
Whoa.
ask Adam. He can confirm that
We need
story.
to get Adam on
So
here.
now I want there to I want the end of the story to be like, and then we found out that 20 years earlier a boy had jumped off there and committed suicide or something like that.
Our cousins, I don't know if I should say any of
That's
their
fine.
names.
Yeah, go ahead.
Isaac always said that there had been like murders and suicides there,
yeah.
and there was another weird time that we were looking in the gym late at night. We looked for ghosts there for some reason, and there was a basketball bouncing about 3 feet high, and it looked like it was being dribbled, but there was nobody there, and it was really like just it wasn't scary, but just really eerie looking.
Like, that is way out of place.
Why wasn't that scary?
I don't know. I don't know what it was, but like looking at it, we weren't scared. We just stared at it. And it's in this dark auditorium dark gym, and the
Yeah.
only light is from the green exit sign. So it's this really creepy glow.
I don't
Ghost
think
of Troy Bolton was.
I don't think I could look at that for more than 1.5 seconds before F words start
be
pouring
like-
out of me.
Holy crap.
Terrified F
Yeah.
words.
So and
Yeah.
then like on my mission, there were quite a few experiences down in. I don't know how many of you guys know this, but Mexico is really popular for witchcraft.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, geez.
Do it all the time.
Lots.
Let's go do some witchcraft.
Go to Cancun.
Yeah, every
do
time
some
I go down
witchcraft.
there, I'm a little witchcraft.
So we got confronted with that a lot
Yeah.
as missionaries, who are like this is happening, and you're like, what's happening? And or you use somebody's bathroom and you can hear talking in the shower, and
So glad.
just really weird, twisted stuff like that.
Other guys in my mission had, encounters with witches and stuff.
never
but I
did.
never did.
We had to deal with the tarot card reader. She was twisted, and yeah.
Nice.
See, I guess for me, I don't know. I had.
The truth is out there.
Here it comes. I had a weird experience on my mission, but it wasn't at all
Paranormal.
It felt like it should have been paranormal, but the guy was incredibly drunk too.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
like,
Yeah, that's
so it's
kinda-
like, I'm not gonna tell this one ever. This isn't one of those faith promoting stories I'm ever gonna tell or something like that.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, just the idea of telling a good ghost story. I'm not saying that these haven't happened, because I obviously have no proof that they have or haven't.
Yeah.
But all of this brings to mind. I don't remember whose blog I saw. I don't know if it was yours, Garrett, or I might have had a cousin who was a hiker. Shared one of the coolest blogs ever. This story of this guy who discovers a cave. Do you remember this story?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Ted
yeah.
the Caver.
Is that what it was
That
called?
was my blog.
Yeah.
Was that your blog? Okay, good. Because that is one of the best stories I've ever read.
Yeah.
It's written like a blog where it progresses, where he finds this cave and he wants to explore this cave, and every entry is him exploring this cave, and it's kind of I'm not going to give away the ending, so it's called Ted the Caver.
Yeah, Ted the Caver.
I think it's actually called Ted's Cave.
He wins in the end.
You can probably look it up either way, and you'll show.
Okay,
But
it's one of the best, well-crafted, scary stories I've ever read.
Yeah,
not only that, but if you look for it, you can find his girlfriend's blog and his parents' blogs.
Really?
Yeah. And
awesome.
His parents say that he left a phone message before.
Don't spoil anything.
Collect them all.
Well, before a few of his cave things. I mean, before a few of the times we went in, and like what he discussed with them was very similar to what his was. And I mean, there's no proof that it. Yeah.
See, and this is fun. I think it's not real. We'll just get that out. It's not real.
Yeah.
But if that's part of it, that is awesome.
Yeah.
That just adds to the mystique of
It's like
this
the
awesome
J.J.
story.
Abrams of
pod. Yeah,
or,
just these little hidden
blogs.
things, like make it extra fun.
There's a polar bear.
Well, another thing that was really big on my mission,
Smoke monster.
paranormal and stuff, is the Chupacabra. Everybody talks about Chupacabra. And I was in an area that had a lot of ranches. And all of the farmers were like, yeah, I had a Chupacabra eat my cow once. I'm like, oh, yeah? And then one guy told us he came last night. And we're like, oh, really? Can we see the cow? He goes, absolutely. We can go out there. And the cow's skin is not it's not rotting at all, but he's completely dry to the bone.
That's weird.
And there are all these weird fang marks around his neck. I'm like, well, that's really twisted. Well, I get moved to another area that also has a farm, and a guy tells us the same thing. And so we're like, well, can we see it? And we go and see it. It's the exact same scenario where they're just sucked dry of all the blood in them. And he, like the second guy, went as far as to chop off a leg with a machete and show me that it won't bleed, and it doesn't. Like, it is completely dry. The meat's still pink. It's not rotted at all. It looked fresh.
So fresh beef jerky.
Basically, well, no, because the meat was still juicy, but there
Yeah.
was no blood in it. It was like you just like set your roast out in the morning to thaw.
That's so
It looked
bizarre.
like that, but I mean, you'd think when you cut the leg that possibly like the blood would be like what's it called where it coagulates or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it'd be blue or purple, but there was nothing. It was all pink inside. Like it would just been, I don't know, prepared for something like us to see it. I don't know.
That's crazy.
So freaky stuff out there. I am still a skeptic. I'm still a huge fan of the Brian Dunning Skeptoid podcast. And until someday I'll see something incredibly creepy and go into a psych ward because I can't handle it. So.
And then we will have a special podcast brought to you from the psych ward.
Excellent.
It'll just be Mark screaming.
That
in
was
the
a
corner.
long one, guys. Thank you for enduring.
Is it over?
That's it.
All right.
Brandon, our announcer's left, so Dave, you have to close it up for us.
We're going to close down this podcast. This is the Desert Bears podcast. I'm Davey with my co-hosts
I'm Mark.
Garrett.
and our special guest,
I'm Matt.
Matt. Thanks for joining us.